things now next to initializing. Hmm. Now it says we're live, but we'll just wait for a few minutes before we actually are. I don't see any of the chat.
Oh, we're live.
There it goes. There's the chat. So good evening, everybody. Dominic's not with us tonight. He's taking his course for his drone. We'll talk about that later. I forget what he called it, but he's working on his drone course. He's got a class today, so Bud's going to be guest co-host tonight. We're going to be discussing how to make the best of your time, specifically with wintertime coming up. I think that's it changes things up for a lot of people. So let's get into it. And good evening, United States Drone Society. How's everybody doing today? Hey, Chris. Hey, Bud. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
You know,
Thanks
when
for
I did
having
when I did the intro, I forgot that Bud wasn't going to be joining us tonight, so I ended up putting him in there, and I
Oh,
forgot to put you on
no.
the intro.
No, Dom wasn't joining us.
Yeah, Dominic wasn't joining us, and I meant to put you on the intro, but I just did not. Oversight.
It's all right.
Chris, how'd your surgery go?
I was in and out in like an hour.
Really?
Yeah, I went in. They called me on the way in for the carpal tunnel surgery, and they said, "Can you get here earlier?"
Let's
And
see.
oh yeah, doesn't look all that great. I got the bruise, and
Oh,
I got
yeah.
the bruise on my wrist from the wrist wrap I had on, and then under the band-aid I got stitches. But they called me up, wanting me to get in there early so I could, so they can get done early. And I went in, and within an hour I woke up and was out the door.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, you were able to get up to New Hampshire and fly before you had the surgery. If you had to go now to do that, would you still be able to go do the flying out there, or would you not be able to?
I wouldn't know because I got to drive up there too,
Yeah.
and you can't use just one hand all the way up there driving because it's a good 3 hour hike and back.
Longer than that, right? It's like a 3.5 hour trek
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
3.5. Well, no, actually, it was. I got in there. I got there within 3 hours, but no, I even flying is kind of like a little bit of a chore. I mean, I could play video games amazingly, but I couldn't do it the first day.
Yeah.
The second day, I'm just trying to work it out and see what can and can't do. The
Yeah.
worst I thought was, using the facilities with my right hand.
Yeah.
So, but no, that everything works out fine, and hopefully, I'll get through these 2 weeks of recovery and be back to go out there again and have some fun.
But
Yeah.
didn't you say your other hand is starting to hurt also?
Yeah, I had that one done about 3 years ago
Really?
because I was out of work for a year and a half because of carpal tunnel. It was
Wow.
really bad, and then so I had the left hand done first because it was my worst, and then the right one got better on its own. So and I had a few jobs in between there, and nothing happened until about 3 months ago when I started feeling my fingers go numb again on the right hand, and I said I better get nip this in the bud before it gets any worse.
Yeah.
No pun intended, bud.
Yeah.
I
Now
got
the
it's a BUD, not a double D, so I'm good.
Hmm.
yeah. And now's the perfect time anyway to take care of that because then you don't do as much flying during the winter time anyway. So get it nice for spring and ready to go. Also, yeah, Dominic's it's called the REPL. He's doing his remote pilot license. I think that it's like equivalent of like the 107 here in the United States. I think that's exactly what he's doing. So good luck to him. I hope he. So I don't think he's doing a test. I think he's got a class. He's got like a I think like he's just learning like it's a course. Yeah. Let's say
Yeah,
hi to the chat. My wife was first. My number one supporter, and we got John in the house. How you doing, John? Glad to have you here.
John.
And Jody's in the house. How you doing, Jody?
Hey, drone shots.
Yeah. Oh, and I have the link for the live chat pinned. So if you want to join for the open chat, you can do so. And Angie's in the house. How you doing, Angie? Glad to have you here.
Angie.
And Jim's in the house. He'll be joining us for open chat.
Well, except he's
And
not here.
Christian, how you doing, Christian? Glad to have you here.
Hey, Christian.
And Ron's in the house. How you doing, Ron? Glad to have you here. He said his thumbs up was number 5. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, Bill Walton's in the house. How you doing, Bill? Interesting. Bill, why do you got tree at the end of your name there? What's that for?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with the trees being
Yeah,
trees.
I'm curious now. But thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. And John Olson's in the house. Oh, just before the show started, I saw Warren in the house, and I saw John wishing him the best. Warren, I hope you're all right. Something going on. I hope you're doing okay.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. How you doing, Warren?
He's
Glad to have you
lurking.
here. Yeah, right here. He said, "Good evening, Warren. Still praying for you. So I hope everything's okay."
He's lurking.
Yeah,
Even
right
if
here.
I wasn't okay, I wouldn't mind people praying for me to get better.
And
Oh,
Brian's
shit.
in the house. Waypoint New England. How you doing, Brian? Glad to have you here.
I got to turn my volume off. Okay. That was me.
And Jeff Norman. He'll be joining us for open chat. How you doing, Jeff? Glad to have you here. Patriots won a game today, by the way, Jeff. Patriots won.
They still suck.
Well, it's funny because that's how many we have. 1-1. Yeah,
Hmm.
you know, I'll take it. You gotta take them where you can, right?
I don't
And
watch
Amy
it.
Maines is in the house. How you doing, Amy? Glad to have you here.
She's a very
Yeah,
avid supporter of the community corner. She's been putting in every week.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Thank you so much. And Benjamin's in the house. How you doing, Ben?
Ben,
Hey, Ben.
So Ben's been enjoying it. We've been playing Silent Hill 2, the remake. Well, they redid the game, and it's been fun using his owl emoji. I wish they'd show him on here.
oh, on our side, yeah.
Yep. Art's in the house. How you doing, Art? Thanks for joining us. And we got Backpack Jack in the house. How you doing, Jackie? Glad to have you here. Although she's
Hey,
sleeping now, but she's
hey, Jackie.
gonna watch the replay. And trusty old Nightbot. Thank you, Nightbot.
I like that Backpack Jack. That's a
Yeah.
pretty cool name.
Yeah, and Lisa's in the house. Actually, Jackie just did a video within the past week that came out really good. Hey, Ben, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Hey, Ben, stop
There
by
he
to
is.
say hi.
Hey, Ben.
Hi.
Lisa, how you
Batman
doing?
Ben.
Glad to have you here. Oh yeah, there's a lot of tags.
Hey, Artie.
And Steve's in the house. How you doing, Steve? Glad to have you here.
Hey, Steve.
God, I'm glad you know all the names.
And Barn Dave is here, and this is Dave. I can't remember his last name, but this is Dave Smith. How you doing, Dave? Glad to have you here.
Hey, buddy.
And Ken's in the house. Shooter FVB. Ken will be joining us for open chat. Wow, there's a lot of people here. Margie's in the house. How you doing, Margie?
Hey, Margie.
Angel's in the house. How you doing, Angel? Glad to have you here.
Drone guy. What's up?
Yeah.
Is it a nip, bud? Question for you there, bud.
I can't. Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay. Move along.
Yeah, move along. And we got William, right? Atlantic Adventures. How you doing, William? Glad to have you here.
Bill. I call him Bill.
Bill. I don't know why I just.
Oh, there we go.
Nice to see him. He's up there, and
There's a lot of people in the chat. There's a lot of chat going on.
Good.
he's in Newfoundland, right?
Hey, Jerry Bowers in the house. How you doing, Jerry? Glad to see you.
See,
Hey, Jerry.
I'm not.
And Bud Bieber's in the house, obviously. He's our guest co-host tonight. And also, Bud has taken the reins tonight and done Community Corner. So we'll be playing that shortly.
Yeah, I couldn't do it because of this.
Yeah.
I understand.
No, I thank you, Bud, for taking this on. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's like we've had like a few here and there, and then all of a sudden you got slammed with 40-something pictures.
Because Bud messaged me and said, "Hey, there's not a lot there." I said, "You want me to tag everybody?" He said, "Yep." I said, "All right, you asked for it."
Yeah.
We did it. We
That's
got
what
Gary
happened.
in the house too. How you doing, Gary? Glad to have you here. I knew.
No,
as soon as- yeah.
It was fun doing it. I mean, some
It
beautiful
is.
pictures for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
and
is
Jeff's
fun.
place. How you doing, Jeff? Glad to have you here.
Hey, Jeff.
Wow, that's a lot of people. I really appreciate everyone stopping in and joining us tonight. So I think with that, we'll just go ahead and play Community Corner this week.
Dying to see it.
Oh,
Wait! Don't do it yet.
Okay.
I want to apologize to anybody that I spelled their name wrong, because I might have been under the influence of 9-year-old Canadian Club.
Yeah, no, he didn't spell anything wrong. He just used the wrong font. He used Font Canadian Club. That's all it is. Yeah, blame it on the font. See,
Okay.
but that's better right there. And I owe an explanation for the intro, by the way. I don't know why, but when I said make the best of it is what the theme of the show was, all I could think of was like the late 80s, early 90s karate movie that's doing, you're the best, like Karate Kid. And I just went with it.
Hey, that was the mid '80s, buddy.
Yeah. It's funny. All right, so let's see what Bud did this week.
Nice one, Bud.
Bud.
No nickname, huh?
Only because of you, Chris.
Yeah. And I noticed Lawrence Clark posted something other than a cityscape this time.
Yeah.
It was out in the woods there. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Can I also mention something? I was going through some posts earlier this week, and I noticed that some people are using the same photo. Now I don't know whose photo it is, but there's been like three people using the same photo. So we kind of discourage that. We want to see like your photos, not somebody else's photo because then it kind of makes the fact that we don't know whose photo it actually is.
Right.
So
Yeah, when we share a photo, we want to make sure that we're sharing someone's actual photo and we're crediting them for it. We don't want someone sharing someone else's photo and then we share it because they might contact us and say, "Hey, why are you sharing my photo?" Or we don't want to be involved in any of that kind of controversy. So if good judgment, if we have a post, share, go out and take some photos. Have some
yeah,
fun.
and when we do the community corner, we also like fresh photos because some people actually will repost the same photo that they posted before in the community corner. I mean, that's okay, but we'd like to see, fresh stuff basically. So it's a little different every week.
So, Bud, how's it feel being guest co-host tonight?
I love it. The only problem is now I need to get up and get a drink, and I feel I can't leave.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can leave.
Well,
You
I
can
think
come
with
right
that,
back.
I think with that, we'll bring in our chat. And David Ross has joined us here tonight too. David, how you doing? Make sure I got everyone in here. Got
Hey,
Jim
Dave.
and we got to add Bud there, and there we go. Looks like
the cat.
Oh, kitty. All
Hey,
right.
Dave, I saw that video you posted. I think it was a day ago.
Uh-huh.
With they did the B-52's Love Shack song.
Oh, yeah, that was last night.
Yeah, that
Last
was
night.
awesome.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, we had a great show last night. I had double duty. I had both the Barn Boys and then my band Queenie and the Kings. So it was a blast.
Yeah, it
You
looks like
po-
there's a lot of nice women there too. I might go there and
Chris, you're always welcome. You know that, brother.
I'm
Come on
single,
down, Chris.
man, so I'm taking applications.
No problem.
so.
They're quickly approved.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Dominic's not here tonight, and he's going into his real enjoyable season for flying his drones. We're getting ready to
Oh, it's
get
getting
into
better for him. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting ready to pack it in.
Yeah.
So I thought tonight that we're going to talk about trying to maximize the amount of time that we have to fly and the different kind of things that we encounter. And particularly, I want to talk about ways that people have come up with, like maybe little hints and tips that you have to make flying during difficult weather or just like, times are more chaotic. The longer you're out there with your controller, the more cold, the more cold your hands get and you don't
Oh
hold
yeah,
it. So Jim will have the heated jacket and so things like that. Let's talk about that tonight.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring the drone with me today when I left the house with my wife because we were going to go around the Situate Reservoir, and I wanted to bring the Mini 3 Pro, and I had it all ready to go, and I forgot it in the kitchen when we
Jim,
left the
you'd be
house.
lucky if you can find a place to fly over there. You can't. That place
No,
is all fenced
there's
off.
there's no place to pull over. There is none.
There's
Yeah.
nothing.
Well,
And DEM
we,
fences it all down.
I
You'll be
know,
lucky to get a flight there.
Yeah,
but I was hoping to have the drone with me so we could stop someplace, and we did stop a place or two. We could
Yeah.
have it up, and it would have been nice, but
yeah. I mean,
It
I
would.
think
Yep.
I think the biggest tip is just to bring a drone with you everywhere. I mean, I have room
bring it everywhere.
I have
Oh
room
yeah.
in my work backpack to to put my drone in the case and throw it in my backpack. So I mean, I literally have mine on me every day.
Yeah.
And now that sunsets are getting earlier, it's a little harder for me to get places because the traffic ends up being so bad at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I mean, I still try, and yeah, I guess just keep it with you.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
throw,
think it's if you can also when it comes to the batteries, the cold weather is really bad for batteries. So if you can bring them with you in your backpack, if you where you'll have them warm, and then when you have the heat on in the car, it'll keep them at temperature and they're ready to fly because you don't want to take off with cold batteries.
Mm.
I
Put them in a
also,
lipo bag
I'm
and put one of those hot hands packs in there.
that's what I do. I have an old lunch bag that I throw a heater in there and throw my batteries in, and I'm good to go.
Yep.
Yep.
Gentlemen,
I'm
you
a
make
fan
it
of.
very difficult because I've got a very good friend, Xavier, who's from South America, and he flies from his car. So,
I do a little bit of that too, Jeff.
right. So there,
Air
that
conditioning
seems
and heated, yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
best way of staying warm. If you want to be outside, and I do sometimes.
Close up.
Um, I hi
I
hi Jim.
Jim had a point.
Hey,
Jim had a point. He was trying to make a point.
Oh,
yeah. I'm a fan of having one battery fully charged and the rest of them at like half charge, so you're ready to go for a quick, a whole bunch of time. And if you're ready, if there's you can charge batteries while you're burning the first one, so you can still have a couple of batteries left in a storage state and have one ready to go. And that way you don't have like 4 or 5 batteries all fully charged. Like, oh shit, I didn't get out.
Yeah.
Now what am I gonna do with all these batteries that are charged? And you can't get out again. So
but they will self-discharge
Yeah,
based
they
on
will.
what you said on the controller.
eventually, yeah.
In 4 days, it self-discharges. You don't have to worry about it at all. This is not like the days of the Mavic 2 where it was a part-time job to make sure your batteries went up and down. It was ridiculous what I saw people do with that. And if you didn't do it, then the battery swelled and they popped out of the Mavic 2 and then buy Mavic 2. So everything since then, from the Air 2 on, will self-discharge properly. You don't have to worry about it. You don't worry
Yeah,
about
but old habits are hard to
Things
I
stop.
are
understand.
hard. Yeah.
It's just I don't need that part-time job. I'm
No.
just telling you, it's going to work perfectly fine
None of
if
us
you
do.
let it self-discharge. I'd rather have them available. But you're right. If you absolutely don't have any inkling that you're going to go somewhere, then let it self-discharge and stay at that like 56%.
Yeah.
I used 4 this weekend. I went upstate with a couple buddies, and I used 4 out of my 7 that I had with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I find that oh, go ahead, Ken. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I think flying in the winter, at least for us here in New England, it gives us a chance. How do I say that? It makes us a little more creative because we don't have, like, in the summertime we have green trees, in the fall we have the colors, but then in the winter we got nothing.
Right.
So it kind of makes you be a little more creative because there's not a lot to shoot as far as scenery unless it snows or something like that. So if you want to fly, you can fly, but just kind of like work on your creativity, your positioning, your framing, things like that.
Pick your shots. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, Ken.
And I
Do a
find
lot
that
more
yes,
urban footage too. That's what I do.
yeah, and it's funny because Ken brought that up, and that was kind of almost
Hmm.
leading into exactly what I was going to say is that I find that in the wintertime, I find that I look places up on Google Earth more often, and I check them out
Oh
closely to
yeah.
find out where I want to go. Because one thing I'm also trying to do is one, I have less daylight, so I'm trying to get in there and out of there while having enough light to film.
Right.
Uh, Not really an issue with the Mavic 3 if you're filming like in Providence or something, but in general,
No.
I want some daylight. And so I
You
find that I go and I kind of more focused on like, okay, I want to go here and I know I'm not going to get foliage, none of that. So
Hmm.
what do I want to shoot? So I find that I'm more prepared rather than in the summertime where I just go and I just like, let's fly and see what I can get.
hmm
You'll
All right.
always get better shots right around sunrise, the blue hour and
Hmm.
Golden
in
hour.
that
Yeah.
area. And
I've done a lot of that last 2 weeks.
right, you're gonna get better shots because otherwise it looks like just lights in a
Yeah.
black background. You can
Right.
put lights on a board.
Yep.
All right. I've never tried it because during golf season, I never see, well, I see very early morning, but I'm on my way to the golf course. I know one of my drones, or several of them, have what are called night shots. What's the difference with that compared to, whatever?
Night shots are when there's typically a second ISO of
Yeah.
the sensitivity of the sensor. So it will bring in light more readily and it will also maintain your dynamic range, which is the darkest area that you can see detail as well as the lightest area you can see detail. It does that. And they also get rid of some of the background noise. So a night shot, I have it on all my RTLs and my DJIs, does that better. But
Is
what
it
I like to do if most of the time is do AEB anyway, and I'll blend the three shots together.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're doing things with movement, it helps enhance the movement
Right.
more than just a longer. Remember, a singular shot, it's hard to keep it drawn steady in the air for 8 seconds or 4 seconds, depending
Right.
on.
so?
So
So night. Pardon me for interrupting, but night shots is strictly photographs, not video.
there are some that have night video as
Oh
well.
yeah, I have some
Oh,
too. Oh yeah.
So it works in both. You can try it, but I wind up because SD cards, micro SD cards are cheap.
Yep.
I'll do it AEB. I'll do it one long exposure. I'll do it night, and I'll see which one looks the best.
Right.
And I can't tell you all the time this is the best way of doing it
But
because
isn't anything you can do in the camera available to do post processing?
no, because if you when you shoot
Not
anything
lens related
on a
or aperture
DSLR
related.
or a drone, if you don't have any detail in the light areas, there's nothing you can do to get detail if it's something is blown out.
Yeah, if you overexpose it, your detail's gone.
Yeah.
Right. In the dark areas, you can get rid of noise to some extent, but you can't pull detail out of absolute nothingness. You can pull something. So it's better off to get whether you're doing it with a sensor that has a very wide dynamic range or you're using AEB where you're creating huge dynamic range
Yeah.
between lightest and darkest.
Right.
That's the best way of getting
You got
detail.
more data.
Is
I use a five burst AEB.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but like what Jeff said, you got a big SD card, or most of us do.
just shoot.
I shot Tuesday night in Providence, and it was the first time I really did. I focused on night shots, but
Hmm.
I was up there, and I didn't do AEB. I just kind of just did single shots, but I took like one at like 1/10, and then I took one at 1/3, then I took and I just kind of like played with it,
Hmm.
and then just looked at it when I got home and to see which one's the best one. And but you have that room to play with, and just keep doing it and just see what comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
Okay.
know what?
It's not film.
Jerry Franks said he likes a 3-shot AEB. And
I'm with
I
Jerry.
switch up.
I do 5.
If I'm shooting
five.
directly into the sunlight, I will shoot at a 5-shot AEB. I just like the shadows. I can work with them a lot more shooting
Yeah.
directly into the sun. But if I'm facing away from the sun, I will shoot a 3-shot burst away from the sun.
Hmm.
You should also find out because it's not definitive. A 3-shot AEB could be a stop and a half overexposed, perfect, and a stop and a half underexposed. A 5-shot AEB might just fill in the insides of that. It may not be a wider range.
Right.
So just because it's a 5-shot AEB does not mean it's going to be a better shot. A
You have to look it
3-shot
up.
almost
Yeah.
always, I almost always use 3
Yeah.
because it may be
So
enough range.
okay, so AEB. I mean, so you take 5, you take 3, you blend them together, or you
You don't
again
The
have a
program
photo
blends them
editor on
together.
your
You're
I
computer?
take
stacking them,
video.
bud.
Merge them.
I
You
I
merge
use
them. You're
I use a
stacking one
program.
layer on top of the other.
I
There's
use
a
a program
million.
called
One at a time, please.
I'm gonna let
Sorry.
Ken let's let Ken answer this one
Sorry.
for him.
Yeah, because I mean, I do sunsets all the time, and I do five. I do a 5-shot, and I use a program called Photomatics Pro. It's built for HDR, and it just sandwiches everything on top of each other. You can change. It's got different like presets that you can do funky things with, and then it actually automatically spits it back into Lightroom. I use Lightroom, so I dump everything in Lightroom, then I export to Photomatics. I do my thing, and then it spits it back into Lightroom, and then I just kind of fix exposure, sharpness, things like that. But Photomatics is a really good program.
And
Yeah,
I'll also
Lightroom does
suggest
that too, though, right?
What's that?
Luminar. Luminar Neo does the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
as Lightroom and Aurora HDR, and you don't have to have a subscription, and they're not taking your images and creating artificial intelligence and
Free.
those. So I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm totally done with
Yeah,
Adobe. They
and
did that.
there are a lot of programs out there where you can merge bracketed photos. So I really don't think that I think that you should focus on a program that you're familiar with for one, and
Yeah.
You should make a different video on that.
yeah, and if you're just learning bracketed photos, it's not as complicated as you think. It's just you would do well to learn what dynamic range is. But
Yeah,
it
which
helps, and
I know nothing.
I'm not sure what program do you edit your photos with, bud.
Me, photo director.
Oh, you just they have a merge photo section there. I can show
Yep.
you. I could go live with you and just show you it. It's real simple.
Well, I'll look at it. All right.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
tell the
okay.
audience what
First of all,
AEB means.
I'm very lazy. Okay, so I'll work on it.
Yeah. Now, what did you say, Chris?
You and me
What
both.
does AEB
It's 20
really mean?
seconds. Takes 20 seconds, bud, and you get
Auto exposure bracketing.
right.
Not
It
that
makes
hard.
the picture much, much, much more lifelike.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just steal other people's pictures. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Jerry's correct there. Yep, absolutely. I've been hooked, and I know a lot of people
Yeah.
don't like it, but for me, when I edit them, I like cloudy days with bracketed photos because I
Oh,
like to make them look like a pastel painting. I
the
find that
cloud-
it looks really nice when the clouds are dark.
Yep.
And it almost looks like the picture just looks dramatic. I really enjoy that look.
Well, it can't hurt to have auto AEB on every shot. It'll just give you more opportunities.
Space is free on cards once you have the cards.
And typically, out of one of those, if you want to just do a single shot, typically one of those 5 or one of those 3 is going to be good enough to just make some basic edits to actually turn into a picture if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
right.
But
Exactly.
at least you have the 3 or the 5 there that you can sandwich and do whatever you want. Like Paul said, you can make it like pastels,
Yeah.
or you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah, all it does is it takes when you take a photo, whether it's in 3 or 5-shot burst, it does either plus or minus. It does plus and minus exposure level
Stops.
Right.
stops, and then when it merges them together, it really helps enhance shadows. You'll understand it when you start to do it. Yeah.
Over your head, bud.
I've got a question about.
No.
Now, I have the Air 2S. Is there a way to do panorama 180s where they can take out? Probably not, right?
I don't think so.
Not with
No.
auto exposure bracketing.
No.
Yeah.
No.
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 Not
AEB is
with
just for
shadow.
it's just for single
That's
photos.
for single bracket. Yeah, single shots.
But what I do is, and we're going to go back to Lightroom again. What I do is if I want to do a panoramic, what I actually do is in my drone. First of all, I'll set it to manual and not automatic exposure, because if I turn and depending on where light is, it could change the exposure. And if I try to put them together as a panorama, you're going to have different
Don't line
exposure. It's
up.
going to look weird.
Right.
So I set it to manual, and then what I do is I take 5 and then 5, and then when I go into post, I'll do the HDR on the first 5, HDR on the second 5, and then with those 2 photos I create, I then use Lightroom to create a panorama, and it puts them together.
Ah,
Also, remember,
yeah.
you can shoot any photo, whether it's for AEB or not, in as a raw file .dng, and those have more dynamic range
Yeah,
also.
and that's
So
what
you're
I
starting
shoot.
with something better. So,
Right.
Bud, the way of describing dynamic range is, on cheap radios, you can't make it really loud or you can't make it really soft. It kind of stuck in the middle like a cheap radio. It does the same thing with photography. You can get much lighter and much darker and still see detail and information. It's like the visual
Good
equivalent
analogy.
of stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I thought this was interesting when we're speaking about panoramic shots. The Air 3S has a pretty cool feature on there where you can define your panoramic where you want it to go. And that was great because I was thinking about all the times I've taken like a pano and something hasn't been in the right position I wanted it to be. So I'd have to go and adjust the drone to the position and then try it again to get like the sun in a particular position. With the Air 3, and I think it'll be nice, and I think they'll probably at some point release it in a firmware update, I would imagine, where you can set the parameters for your pano and just shoot. So you don't have to worry about doing just, you do it and it does a predetermined path. You can set your area where you want the pano.
That's
Right.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
Well, the
probably just
problem-
cropping it.
And
It's hard
Ken,
to see it. Yeah,
Some of
yes,
it, defining the boundaries of your own panel.
some photo programs will do even if you're shooting in auto, it will correct the exposure. You don't have to do it manually because actually, as you're turning the camera, you do have different exposures as you go from one area because the sun is always coming from one area. So if your panel is shooting this way, this way, this way, you're going to have less light here perhaps than here. So having it automatic and having the software make it into one panel and both Affinity, which I use, and Luminar Neo do that very, very nicely by themselves. So you don't the manual actually could bite you in the butt because there's going to be different exposure as you turn in some cases.
No. You set it before it does the shot.
Right, that's what I do.
And then you click go and it'll take it. So you're not doing it on the fly, so to speak, pun
I'll
intended. Mm-hmm.
what I'll do is I'll scan the horizon, like where I'm going to shoot, and I'll see what the exposure kind of like is, and then I'll kind of make it so that, like, I mean, it could be that if the left shot's super dark and the right shot is kind of bright, I'll kind of go in the middle and
Dial it in.
kind of do it, dial it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you go back into post a lot of times and look at what you did, sometimes it just looks completely different than what you thought it was going to look like.
Well, that's true too. I mean,
Yeah.
not all shots, and sometimes even though I know
I
that
take
I got the right perspective on both shots to do the panoramic, sometimes, it might be a Lightroom thing, but sometimes it will say can't join photos, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So, but
Yeah.
All right.
Does not
So
compute.
again,
Does
let
not
me ask you a
compute.
stupid question. So when I shoot a pano on my DJI whatever drone, I let it put together. So you're saying you're manually going in because I know it takes however
yeah.
many pictures. So you're manually going in and putting them together and
Well,
editing that way.
I'll make sure, like when I do a panel, I'll make sure that my left shot has something that's going to be in the right shot so it can line up. Like I'll pick like a building or something, and I'll put it in the
No.
middle.
That's not what I don't think
DJI doesn't always get it right.
he's talking about how are you getting the pano to you. So, Bud, when you do take a pano shot with your DJI drone, it gives you a JPEG.
Right.
Okay.
A big
But
ass thing.
if you go into your files on your SD card, you'll actually have all the raw photos there where you can go in and
Which I understand. So that's my question. So to Ken, you're going into that folder then and the individual files and gluing them together.
Yes. Yeah,
Not
I'm not letting my drone create the panoramic. I'm actually taking the
A
pictures
different
separately
program.
Stitching them
and joining
yourself.
it myself.
Yep.
Okay.
typically your computer will have better processing power to
Exactly.
put together and to make however you do it, whether you do it Ken's way or you do it more automatically like Affinity and Luminar and Lightroom do. There's more power in your computer or even your
Exactly.
phone to do it that way. So the drone does it okay, but the computers do it much, much better with proper editing
How
software.
do you
But
get rid of
also,
stitch marks?
That's well said.
Wait. First of all, fine. Now I got to go out and play with it tomorrow. Thank you.
now the one thing, the one reason why I do them
Lazy.
separate is because I don't really like the way the DJI puts the pictures together in the drone because it's all skewed and kind of weird and stuff. I'd
And
rather,
the horizon's right in the middle of the picture.
yeah, but it kind of bends it and
Yeah,
makes
it
it.
does.
I
It
mean,
works.
for me anyway. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just for
I got a lot
I
of
agree
those
with you,
people
Ken.
lined up.
For a
I do.
360 though, right? Not a 180.
what's that?
Yeah, I want to, come, a lot of times I'd like to, do the, what do they call it? Picture of thirds, put a third of the horizon
Rule
and
of
Rule
then,
of
thirds.
thirds.
here. But the pano shots are always 50-50. It's like, nah, I don't want that.
They don't
Plus,
have to be.
wow.
They can be shot any way you want. They do not have to be 50-50. With meet the horizon in the middle of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No,
I've,
you can do that
I've had
with
a lot of panoramic shots that just didn't line up. When you
All
zoom
right.
in, you can see all unevenness in
How
the
do you get rid
horizons.
of? How do you get rid of the merging shadows?
Well, that's the thing. That's how you deal with exposure. That's why I do manual because what happens is it might change as I go from left to right. I only do two like a two shot panel. I don't do like three or four. I just do two shots, a left and a right,
All right. Yep.
and I make sure that I use manual so that way that it doesn't change, and that way the separation right in the middle is as exact as it can be.
that's going to limit you on the width of your panorama.
Right.
But
Yep.
if you use, I'm telling you, I just did this yesterday. I've done this literally 500 times. You can shoot auto, you can shoot a pano, take the DNG files off of the card, merge them together with any of the software we've been talking about, and it will look great. And Affinity and Luminar, because I unsubscribed from Lightroom, Affinity and Luminar will blend the exposure and make it look perfect. You don't have to limit yourself to what you're doing with the two things. It works perfectly. So try it with Affinity or Luminar or both. Because I jump, I have I have four pieces of editing software for photos, and four for video, depending on what I'm doing. So and try it. It's going to make your life much easier. You don't have to match things.
I will. I'll give it a shot. I will.
And now I pose this question to everybody on the panel tonight. I want to ask: if you have one tip that would be your best tip for cold weather flying, let us know what it is, and we'll go right next to us. We'll start with Chris, then we'll go to Bud, then we'll go from there. So go ahead, Chris.
One tip:
One tip for cold weather flying. What's your one tip?
if you can, fly from your car. It's not really gonna make much of a difference with like
Yes.
range and all that because I've done it. Yeah, getting out of your car, you can point your remote to where your drone actually is, but it's not that much of a problem. I've had to do it sometimes just to keep my hands warm because you don't want to be cold because then you really can't focus on what you're trying to do. You focus on trying to keep warm and your hands are always going to freeze up first and
They
using
will.
gloves doesn't really work right. So it's like fly from your car if you can.
Yeah,
My tip.
I like Warren's answer. Wait for spring. I yeah.
Can't wait.
Bud, what's your tip?
Makes
For me, I mow grass at a golf course, but in the winter, the place looks beautiful. So I'll take my Air 2S because it flies beautifully in the winter, but I'll keep the batteries in my pocket till I get to where I want to take the shot, the video, whatever. And then I take off. Now, do I have hot hands in my pocket? Yes, to keep my fingers warm. But yeah, I mean, just go out and enjoy.
Yeah. Jeff.
Keep your batteries always with you in warmth. Don't ever leave batteries in a car because the chemical reaction is slow. And when you're If you can't do what Chris said, which is would be my number one tip, keep the batteries on the inside of your coat or on the inside
There
to
you
keep
go.
everything warm. And then when you take it out, it's going to have less life because the chemical reaction in the battery will be slower in the cold weather. But if you keep it inside, you're keeping all your batteries warm. So that's my tip.
Hi, Gio and Steve, and Giggles FPV.
It's just Joe, by the way. I know I did the same thing, Geo. It's
I
Joe.
don't know. It looks low,
Yeah,
Gio.
yeah, yeah. It does. Yep.
I don't know.
That's why it's good to see everybody here.
Font. It's the font.
Yeah. So, Ken.
Well, I guess I'm going to stay on the battery track as well because my big tip and what I've done for years is get one of those old insulated lunch bags. You can get them at Walmart or whatever for like $10, and grab a heater, those pocket warmers that you can plug in and recharge. Throw that in the bag, throw your batteries in there because sometimes you might not have pockets, or sometimes you're actually going to be walking away from your car if you're going to be on site somewhere. So at least they're inside something insulated and they're warm, so you can just pull them out, pop them in, and take off.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Sounds solid.
Jim.
Okay, so when it's totally cold out, yes, I love my electric coat, but your fingers are still shivering, and sometimes if you decrease center sensitivity, it smooths that right out. That's
Okay.
magic.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I'm
Dave.
telling you, I've had shivering fingers, and on screen I'm seeing everything like.
Yeah.
I think yeah, everybody's focused on two central things. Number one being learning how to fly from your car if you can, and the other part is keeping the batteries in good shape. I would agree with both of those. My first thing, fly from the car. I agree with you all the way, Chris.
Well,
And number two, on the batteries, just take them with you into a heated car from where you charged them off. Don't leave them in the car. Don't let them get cold. Any of that stuff. Bring them with you. Car's heated all up. Everything's good to go. If you got a power supply, bring it. Absolutely, you can freshen them up, stuff like that. But that's kind of my mo. And I just try to organize so I can fly right out of my case and in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just keep everything warm.
Right.
Yep.
You
Right.
know, and it's
Exactly.
Especially your fingers.
Yeah.
Warm.
Oh. The other thing is just I don't know. It may be technically correct or not, but what I tend to do is I'll face my car if I can toward the flight path I want to go to, and then I'll
Of
crack
course.
the window.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
see,
On
we're
top
all
of the
talking
steering
about
wheel.
Yeah.
keeping your hands warm and your body warm and the drones warm. My
Exactly.
tip is I'm going to go another direction here. I'm going to say fly with friends and family. Go out there, fly with friends and
That's a
family
given.
because it just makes everything more enjoyable. And it's not so easy to get those beautiful shots when everything looks like shit. The snow is brown. You know, we don't live in New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, when the snow hits, it hits trees and roads.
Yeah.
Nobody's driving them. It looks gorgeous when it's untouched, but not in New Bedford and not in Rhode Island. It turns brown as quick as it hits the ground.
Whoa, Paul.
Nasty.
We've gone to beaches during the winter, and we've got some killer shots. Remember Warren's Point?
Yeah.
Warren's Point out in Little Compton was. I found a little secret spot that we could get to, and
I think I know where you were, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
we were at the beach club, the
Yep.
Warren's Point Beach Club.
Yep.
We went there because we could get in there, and we got some great footage. I mean, the water's still blue,
Oh yeah.
the grass is still green. Yeah,
Right.
you're going to get sticks for trees, but that's
Right.
the thing I do when I go out in the winter.
And
I
cold
try to go on
hands.
coasts. I try to go on coast because the sand, like I said, the sand's still orange.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah, you can get some good
I
stuff.
have a pair of photographer's gloves, for the cold hands and stuff like that. And basically, it's the thumb and the two forefingers that have like a half an opening that you can kind of fiddle
No,
around with.
no, no,
But
no,
I
no, no,
won't
no,
do
no,
it.
no. If you
I
want to
got
keep
neoprene.
if you want to keep your hands warm while you're out flying, you got to have a cup of hot
Mittens.
coffee. So
Yeah.
come get a mug.
Oh,
Let's do
segue
it.
time. Wow.
Yeah,
coffee from a United States
Listen,
grocery
There
store.
we go.
yeah, hashtag USDS in the chat for your chance to win the coffee mug. Come on, you want to keep your hands warm? That's your best bet. Nice hot cup of coffee right in there.
Oh, what's
Start
up?
that timer. I thought that was a good time for that segue.
That's great. Yes, Ken, it is good.
So, Paul and Chris, just how cold does it get out there for you guys?
Oh, over by the water, it can get brutal.
Yeah, by the water, it's the worst. But we've had pretty mild winters lately up here.
Yeah,
Past few years, we had one real snowstorm, and there's been Februarys where we've had below zero wind chills. We haven't really had that in the past year.
Okay.
But it can get cold.
yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be a wet winter because it's La Nina this year.
La Nina, not La Nino.
La Nina.
Yeah,
Looks like we're losing some people and they're coming back in the chat there. So weird. I think that happened the last time we came over to the coffee mug giveaway.
Yeah. Where? Escape. Where? How about recycle?
Oh, yeah, Bud. Lost Bud now. Well, you got 30 seconds left. Hashtag USDS in the chat for your chance to win the United States Drone Society coffee mug. Oh, you want to turn that down, please?
You're gonna have like a United States Society windbreaker.
All right. First of all, you guys got nothing. We have wind chills at minus 40, and it's minus 20 real degrees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 'cause we live on the coast, so we get you get some of that warm weather, the warm water.
Good luck, everybody.
What
Good
happened?
luck. Who's going to win?
I'm pretty sure it's rigged.
Rigged. It's always rigged.
Yeah.
John Olsen. Congratulations. Congratulations, John. I believe I already have John's address. Let me add people back to the scene here. Looks like, yeah, we lost some people for a while there.
Congrats.
It was something you said, Paul.
Oh, there I am.
I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, how'd you guys like that segue? Huh? I was just waiting for it. Waiting for a
We're
moment.
waiting somewhere to jump.
Very
I
skillful.
like the jazz.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Oh,
I
look
like
at that.
the
We got
jazz.
Stevie Bronx in the house. How you doing, Stevie?
I just invite y'all to ride Amtrak out to beautiful Platte, Illinois, and suffer through my super cold winter.
We suffer enough here. No thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been cold, that's for sure, and that's why I don't
I've
go up in
been
that
through
kind of
the
cold.
blizzard of '78, so
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you.
Now,
Yeah.
Bud, you asked how cold it gets out here. It's not necessarily, it does get cold as with anywhere in the wintertime. But when
Cold.
we're over by the ocean, right where the water, you get the air coming off of the water, sometimes it's really
that's
brutal.
Yeah.
So you could
Our
stand
snow
out
is
there and
wet.
be fine. But when you got your hands on your controller and your hands are exposed, that makes all the difference in the world right there.
Our
Wait,
snow is wet.
I have a question. Is it water or water?
Water.
Water.
Yes.
It depends
Water.
it depends on who went to school, because I say
WAHTAH.
I
Water.
say water. I pronounce my R's. I don't say car. I say car.
Yeah, me too.
Chris, I lived in upstate New York. I do pronounce my R's when I have to pronounce my R's.
No, listen,
So
when I
capable.
say car, I'm saying car. You may not hear it like that, but I'm saying it. Whether you hear it like that is not, I'm saying car.
I hear what you're thinking.
Okay,
Yeah.
every one of you is an East Coaster, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I am.
More or less. But I retain upstate New York.
Well, no, Jeff is an almost East Coaster. He's a wannabe New England fan.
No, I definitely live. I live more east than you do.
Oh, he's a Mets fan though.
He won't admit it. He won't admit
I
it.
live more east than you do. I'm absolutely. Remember, it's a long coast. It's not just all the. It's not just Massachusetts. East
Yeah,
Coast.
it's
how
not.
are the
It's yeah. Jeff, it's okay. However you need to rationalize it, we accept you. Don't worry.
how are the Mets
Listen,
doing
you
in the World
townie.
Series?
Oh, he's not a townie. Dave's a townie.
No,
Dave's a
listen, you
townie.
guys don't even
Dave's a
know.
townie.
I'll get a phone call at
He's a
8:30,
Rotary.
9 o'clock in the morning. Jeff is already up, ready to roast me. So,
Ah,
it's all good.
yep,
Hey, at least you know you're cared about. That's the most
that's
important
right.
thing in life.
Yep.
So, listen, we got a few minutes left. So, let's go around and give everyone a chance to say what they want to say and promote what they want to promote. I do want to say, I think tonight was an interesting topic.
It
Hopefully, you
was.
guys took away something. It's
Yes.
not so easy to find great places to fly at, and, not everybody has great river in their yard like Bud. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Eh,
we'll go with Jim.
a nice 4K 60 stream. So yeah, I've got nothing to push. I've been flying a little bit. Of course, I don't post anything. I just fly for me, and that's because of mental health, and it's an important thing. So I just want everyone to get out there and fly all they can, and be safe about it, and get together with your friends when you do it. It's all the better.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jim.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate having you here this week, brother.
I always love it, man.
Great
Thanks.
week.
See you, Jim.
And we'll go with Jeff.
I will be going out to the Vegas drone meetup. If any of you will be there, it'll be fun to spend some time with you and fly with you. Wish me peace and understanding as I work in the election offices, taking people's votes this week and a week from Tuesday.
Right.
yikes.
So someone's got to do it,
Yeah, I
and
guess so.
I tend not to take bullshit from anyone, so that's why they picked me.
Uh-huh.
So, that's all. I hope to see you guys in Vegas. I hope I'm alive afterwards, after this week. And
you'll be
I wish I could
fine.
go too.
anyway,
Well, I'll
thanks.
tell you, I'm glad I don't have to vote in your district. I see you. I'm turning and walking the other
I'm
way.
walking out the door. Yeah.
Look, you.
Yeah. No, but that's a pretty crazy job. Hopefully, everything goes nice and smooth for you. There's no chaos. I appreciate having you here this week, brother. Have a great week.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. And David.
Alrighty. Well, I guess I've been, out as much as I possibly can, trying to get the color, and done some decent stuff. Gotten some good color. I even did a video on Smithfield, right in my local area, and got several inquiries for commercial work. So it worked out pretty nicely. But anyway, I've just been enjoying the color, getting out there while the weather's warm. Naturally, it's going to be less, as we've talked about tonight. Going to the winter, but there's some good stuff to get. Try nearby Wachusett Mountain. Great place to fly in and around there. There are restrictions on the park side, but that's what's kind of in the plan. So I'll do what I can when I can, and hey, that's the way it rolls.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, John Carroll's in the chat. Hope you're doing good, John. Haven't seen you in a while.
All right.
So Wachusett, huh? You've
Yep.
been you've been up there recently? It's
Not recently, but I flew there several times this year. I flew last fall, I flew last summer, and then I got an icicle flight this past winter. Went up there, they lost some power because of an ice storm, and I mean it was unbelievable. I flew the drone all the way to the top of the mountain,
Mhm.
and I mean it was like a glass palace. It was amazing.
I'd like to see that. I
Yeah.
mean, I love the foliage, and I'm gonna try to get there
Yeah.
out there this week.
Hmm.
My hand is not so bad, so Wachusett sounds like a good place. I wanted to go to the Berkshires again this year.
Berkshires are wonderful. I got another place lined up there. I'd like to go to at some point. It's Turner's Falls
Oh yeah.
Okay.
up in
Yeah.
Greenfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate having you here this week.
Hey, great to see you guys as always.
Enjoy.
Good folks.
Love the videos too.
Yeah. And Ken.
Yeah, I got nothing. Haven't really been flying too much. I flew a little bit this week, did some night stuff. Like going back to what we had said before with like the night shots and anything else, you got big SD cards. Grab one, put it in, practice. Just try different settings, try different angles, try different exposures, things like that. You never know what you're gonna see until you see them in post, and you're going like, yeah, this doesn't work. Yeah, this doesn't work. Oh, wait a minute, that works. Wow, look at that. So just keep shooting, keep flying, fly with friends. Just inspire. That's all I ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. Thanks, Ken. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Have a great week, brother.
Yeah, you too. See you guys.
See you, Ken.
And Bud.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me fill in for Dom. I was quite surprised. Um, Way cool video tonight, or I mean, show. Now I got to go out and try a bunch of different photographic techniques. We've had some great fall. Yes, we've had some great fall coloring. I've still got some leaves to shoot. If you've been watching my channel, I got a crazy guy painting 3 silos behind me, so we're going to keep an update on that. I just love the show, Paul. I mean, keep doing what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's fun.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
And Chris.
Chris,
Yeah.
am I doing the show next week or are you?
I think oh, you mean the video?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll see how my hand goes. But if you
Okay.
want to do it this week,
I'll do it.
feel free.
Okay.
Feel free to do it. I liked it. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, another Bud one.
It was a freak of nature. Again, 9-year-old Canadian club sometimes works.
I thought Bud made a big mistake when he messaged me and said, "Yeah, sure, tag everybody." Okay, Bud, you got it. We're doing it. Got what you asked for.
I got that once. I said, Paul, we're getting only a few people, like 20 people. So we went and put the tag. I got like 50 something. I was like, yeah, it got pretty bad.
All right, yeah, it worked. You got what you wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I put in.
I texted he's over there. No, over there, wherever. I texted Paul. I'm like, hey, I'm at like 4 minutes. How long do you want this thing? Because I wasn't sure. So
go with it. All right, Chris, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, everybody just try to keep flying out there because the foliage is still going. We're in Massachusetts right now, peak foliage. Just try to get some colors, man. Try to get some dynamic shots until we're all sticks, because once we're sticks, you're going to have to get a little bit more creative, like, urban shots, night shots of cities, like I said, coastlines.
Yep.
Let's try to get some of that color in there, especially this week for Community Corner. Make Bud happy.
No, wait.
Uh-oh.
Come like December, January, we do a black and white special.
Oh,
that's different.
Yeah.
Never heard that before. But as for now, like right now, I mean, since the color's just going crazy everywhere.
Oh yeah.
We can just try to, let's do a foliage Community Corner.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Foliage week.
Foliage week. Yeah, that would be great. Just
yeah,
the whole week.
And I do have a contest planned for the 100th episode, so we'll work on something as we go on. But so I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight, and I want to say mental health really matters, and this week I think it's particularly important for me to mention it because I saw something happen this past week that was really disturbing. And I just want to say, that there are people out there that do a lot of work, whether you like the content or not. They put a lot of time and effort into it. So, it's free to be kind. So be kind. That's all I got to say. And mental health is super important. If you're struggling, reach out. Reach out to your friends and family. Dial 988. If you can't find any help, and your friends and family, reach out further. Go to your local communities, police, hospital, the drone community. There's people out there that will, talk to you. So don't do it alone. So thank you, everybody, for being here, and have a great week. Back to that video on us today. What do you think?
Hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, we got lucky. It must have been my meal. I swallowed a bunch of synonyms yesterday. It gave me the sorest throat I've ever had.
Stop it.